Hi everyone, welcome you all. Today we are going to discuss what are functions. Argument. Previously we were talking about how to create a function and how to call them. And today agenda point will be creating a function with arguments. Actually arguments are the piece of information which we pass to the function when we call it. This gives flexibility to the function. Okay, let's have an example so that we can better understand it. Let's create a function called def which prints a simple message. Let's say msg welcomes. Okay, and if I try to use a print statement, let's say welcome, okay, like this, and I can call this function msg. Okay, now if I try to print this, it will simply print a welcome only and it doesn't print a name. Okay, now suppose since I'm creating this function for myself, I can always write like this. Let's say hi abc. Okay, now if I try to execute this one, this also works fine, but it is also a very rigid function. It does not have that functionality. If I want to change the name, then I have to change the code. Okay, and in real-time scenario I can distribute my software to many other people. In that case also this function only prints welcome abc, it doesn't print username. Okay, so what I can do is get little bit more flexible to it, and let's import this os, import os, and now instead of a abc I can write os.get login. Okay, now if I try to execute this one, this also solves the purpose, but here my source will be always a user login. Okay, but maybe I can retrieve this data from variety of source like a database or from the web or from the CSV files. In these cases our strategy for creating a function fails because we can no longer use this function again. So what I can do is I can have a parameter like this name and specify it like this. Okay, name, and then I can specify a name here, os.login, and we can specify like this message dot, let's say I can print it from here also, Tom, and let's have another data source from somewhere else like anything. Okay, now let us execute this program in C, and here you can see my program is correctly printing all the names. So when we use arguments, it gives flexibility. For example, if I want to repeat this message 10 times, I can always write a 10 print statement or a for loop. But if I specify argument like this, let's say n, and if I use a for I in range, let's n be the value, and then specify it like this. So if I pass this value like 6, like 2, like 10, okay, so this gives me additional functionality. So this is how and why we should use arguments. Execute our function or try to call our function by passing only one argument and check whether it is possible or not. Okay, now if I execute this program, you will see I run into error. It says missing one required positional argument. Okay, so now let us understand what is positional argument. So your arguments are passed to the according to the position. So Ajay goes to the name and 5 goes to n. Okay, and similarly here if you do not specify an argument, then your compiler reports and detects this error. Okay, now what if I specify 5 first and then specify a string, and let us execute this piece of a code and see. Okay, so I'm going to press F1 to execute this program, and now you can see type error, str object cannot be interpreted as integer. So you can see here Ajay I have passed in place of a n, and it is not, or it cannot be converted into an integer. So you have to pass argument according to the logic you have used. Okay, now next Let us have one more scenario where we pass 3 argument in place of a 2. Now I should specify any value. It can be x or anything else, because I haven't used this, so it is not necessary to pass only integer or a number. Just try to execute, and we are doing little bit experiment. Now you can see what error I am getting. Type error message takes 2 positional argument but 3 were given. So you have to specify a specific number of arguments. So now let us conclude our some of the points that should be taken care of. You have to call a function according to the argument you have passed, and you have to specify argument in a same sequence in which you have passed or specified argument. Okay, let us call it like this way: MSG ABC and the number 2. Now if I specify like this and try to execute this piece of a code, you can see my program executes. So you have to specify arguments in a same sequence or in a sequence. Now Python also supports a keyword argument. Here you can specify or disturb the sequence by specifying the value. Let's say we have specified name is equals to like this and n is equals to 2. So we have used a keyword while passing the parameters, and if I try to execute, it still works. Okay, now you can see it still works. But what if I specify this in a wrong sequence? Okay, I am going to get rid of this and copy this, paste it after this. So I am not following the sequence this time, and try to execute this one and see my function still works. So this is the first time and this is the second time, or this is with the help of, this is the result of line number 8. Okay, for more clarity, let's change the name Amit and try to execute this one and see. So here, so this is another way of calling your function by passing keyword argument. When we specify variables, like we are going to do like here, yes, comma 2 times. So here my arguments are assigned according to position. That's why we can call it a positional argument. And when we specify using a keyword, then these are called keyword argument. In Python we can mix match keyword argument and positional argument. Let us see how we can do it. Message, and first of all we have to specify positional argument, that is Arjun, and then we can specify keyword argument like this 90. Okay, 90 will be much bigger value, only 2. Let's say run this program and you will see my program executes successfully. Okay, here it is. Okay, let's clear the screen so that we can see it better. Okay, now but you have to make sure you have to pass first of all positional argument, and it should be followed by keyword argument. You cannot call function like this MSG and first you specify a keyword argument, or n is equals to, let's say 2, and specify ARGU and Arjun here. And if you try to do this, now what happens? See, positional argument follows keyword argument, straight away you get an error. Okay, and if you try like this MSG, let's say ARJU and Arjun, and then specify the name is equals to Arjun, and then you can specify, let's say value 6 this time, and run this program and see, make it comment and run this time. See, still I'm getting error. Why? Because I have supplied a keyword argument first and then I have tried to specify positional argument. So now notice here the sequence is correct, but how I have written as keyword first. Okay, so if I have not used this keyword, then this function should execute perfectly fine. But here, since I have specified keyword first, that's why it is creating problem, right? Now let us make it a comment because we do not need it. Now let us learn how we can pass multiple variables without defining it, and in this case these are called arbitrary arguments. Let us have more clarification. Sometimes we do not know in advance the number of arguments that will be passed into a function. Python allows us to handle this kind of a situation through function calls with an arbitrary number of arguments. In the function definition, we use an asterisk while passing it. You can say, let's say I'm going to define another function. You can define multiple function in a program. Def, let's say ABC, and this time we are going to use a asterisk here and then specify the argument name. Let's say names this time, and let's have a colon first for I in names like this, and print all the names one by one like this. Okay, and let us call this function this time ABC. Now in the parenthesis we can supply multiple arguments, like we are going to specify Monica, Tom, and let's say in closing and double quotes Tom, let's have Rakesh. Okay, and we can supply many more. I'm going to do it only one more this time, Geeta, and let's execute this program and see. Now you will find that all the parameters are accepted by the function and printed, right? So you can specify multiple argument at one time by using arbitrary argument. Okay, so let us conclude this video here only, and today we have learned how to pass arguments, or you can say we have learned what are positional arguments, keyword arguments, and then we have learned arbitrary arguments. So for today I will take a leave. So let us wind up today's video by saying goodbye. To practice Python, that's how you learn Python and enhance your skills. Bye bye, have a nice day, see you.